Tuesday, October 18th, 2016 meeting of the Burke County Commissioners to order. Madam Clerk, you will note that all the commissioners are present with the exception of Commissioner Abley, who is out of town this evening. I would ask that presenters come to the table tonight or to the podium and speak clearly into the microphones, and remind you, if you have mobile devices, please silence those devices at this time. Again, welcome. We're glad to have David Russ, our former county health director, tonight. Is going to come. David, come to the podium and have our invocation. Let's all stand, please.
Thank you, Commissioner Britton. Let's all bow our heads. Lord God, Creator, we do give you thanks for this most beautiful day. And Lord, we give you thanks for this time of year. Lord, we know that there are many in our state who are suffering and in our world, and we ask that your hand be with them and give them peace and comfort and help us respond to their needs, because, Lord, we know that they are suffering at this time. And Lord, we ask that you be with government at all levels as we are in this election time. Lord, give voters the wisdom to vote the right candidates, and Lord, give the candidates that are elected the wisdom to lead our people in the right direction. And we ask, Lord, now that you be with us during this meeting of the county commissioners. Help the decisions and the discussions that occur tonight to be in keeping with your plan. And we ask this in the name of Jesus Christ. Amen.
Amen. Thank you, David. We are glad to have with us tonight the Burke County 4-H under the direction and leadership of Nikki Steer. They're going to come and lead us in our Pledge of Allegiance, and then they'll also lead in the 4-H pledge. Go ahead, guys. Thank you guys for being here tonight. Stand right there. We want to come down and get a picture with you. Okay, that brings us to item 4 of our agenda tonight, approval of meeting minutes. Before you, and you've had time to review these, are the minutes to the July 5th, 2016 pre-agenda meeting, the July the 5th, 2016, July 29th, 2016 regular meeting, and the August 2nd, 2016 pre-agenda meeting. I would be happy to entertain a motion to approve these minutes.
Mr. Chairman, in reviewing, I did not see need for correction, so I do make the motion that all three be approved.
Thank you, Commissioner Taylor. You've heard Mr. Taylor's motion. All in favor, signify by the uplifted hand. Madam Clerk, that'll be unanimous.
Mr. Chairman, one quick question, if I may. Were we gonna hear an additional report from the 4-H? I thought we were. Okay,
Okay.
I got you. Jumped ahead of you.
All right,
Go ahead.
thank you, that's fine. Gentlemen, you've also had the agenda for this evening's meeting. Don't know of any changes or additions. I'll entertain a motion to approve the agenda as it was presented to you. You've heard Mr. Carroll's motion. All in favor? Signify by the uplifted hand. Mr. Taylor, you good? That's all of us, Madam Clerk. Now, at this time brings us to item 6. We do have a presentation tonight from Cooperative Extension, Burke County 4-H, and I'll recognize again Nikki Steer for that presentation.
Good evening. I'm Nikki Steer with Burke County 4-H, and I thank you for letting us have the opportunity to speak this evening. And tonight, it is my pleasure to also introduce you to 2 of our 4-Hers that will be helping me with this presentation.
Hi, my name is Nicholas Thompson, and I'm in the Great Adventures 4-H Club. So, Burke County Cooperative Extension and Burke County 4-H provide youth in Burke County with programs dedicated to teaching them leadership and citizenship skills while exposing them to a wide variety of specialized projects. The motto of the 4-H program is to make the best better. And here in Burke County, our goal is to provide just that opportunity to the county's youth. 4-H youth engage in a variety of programs focused on science, technology, engineering, mathematics, expressive arts, public speaking, and animal science. Through the 4-H program, our goal is to build youth into responsible adults in the future through a variety of experience-based programs and activities.
My name is Cameron King. I'm also in the Great Adventures 4-H Club here in Burke County. Last year in 2015, we saw Burke County's 4-H reached 6,334 youth that were with the Burke County 4-H programs and the activities. We also saw that more than 4,047 youth have been involved in the 4-H school enrichment programs and other 4-H-based programs in Burke County public schools, public and private schools. Through the period of 2014 to 2015, we saw 230 youth that participated in Burke County 4-H day camps and overnight camps. The Burke County 4-H has impacted over 700 youth in program collaborations with other county departments, such as the Burke County Health Department, the Burke County Public Library, and the Burke County Soil and Water. To date, we see there are more than 435 youth that are participating in Burke County 4-H community clubs. The 4-H youth participated in 6,540 experiences in STEM, 2,820 in citizenship, 2,100 in healthy lifestyles. In 2015, we saw 490 adults and youth that have volunteered in the Burke County 4-H programs. And in the past year, the Burke County 4-H volunteers logged over 3,800 hours of volunteer service in the community, which the results have a value of $91,271.
Thank you for letting Burke County 4-H give you a presentation and update on what we've been up to. Thank you.
Thank you very much, gentlemen. You've heard this report. Any questions or comments?
Mr. Chairman, if I may comment, I hope if y'all, meaning the commissioners, have not reviewed page 51, and that's just what they delivered that report off of. When you ask what's going on and what's the end results of your program, that is a good summary of it, and I appreciate it. But I also wanted to thank them for the awards program that they do. And they all invite us as commissioners and other significant others, you might say, and we enjoy the program and get a delicious meal out of it. So we thank you. We thank you, young people, for being active and doing what you do for Burke County. Thanks a lot.
Thank you.
Thank you. Any other comments? All right. With that, gentlemen, I'll entertain a motion to accept this as a presentation.
So moved.
All in favor, signify by the uplifted hand. Everyone, thank you again for being here tonight. That brings us to item 7, scheduled public hearings. Madam Clerk.
We have no scheduled public hearings tonight, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, ma'am. Informal public comments, Madam Clerk.
Thank you, Mr. Vice Chairman, members of the board. We have one speaker tonight, Ms. Angie Huss. Good evening. I'd like to speak to you tonight in reference to, I guess, item 10.2 on the mobile home parks and the issues that are going on. In specific, I'd like to speak with you about River Bend Mobile Home Park. My husband and I had signed papers, we'd signed papers to purchase River Bend Mobile Home Park, and then in doing our homework, after doing that, we found that there were several issues that needed to be dealt with. We've had some lengthy conversations with Burke County Water Department, with Bradley at Code Enforcement, the tax office, and we've been at this about a week and a half, actually, and I just wanted to share a little bit with you of what we've actually got accomplished. We did get water back onto that mobile home park, and we have identified and fixed several leaks that were there causing a huge water issue, and we will continue to address those. We have also spoken with Republic Services to get trash pickup in there. That will be hopefully delivered sometime this week. We did talk with Bradley about some things that need to happen to be brought back up into compliance, and some fines that were there. And our intention is to take care of the taxes that are, back taxes that are owed there also. We did also reactivate street lighting in that park because all the street lights were not on. And we installed security cameras to cut down on some of the vandalism of people trying to go into homes that are standing there vacant. We did a walkthrough of those homes. A lot of those homes are able to be used. They have had windows busted out of them and stuff, so we're going to replace windows and secure all the doors, and work with the county as closely as we can to get those homes remodeled and be able to provide some quality housing for the community. I know that this park has been cited as a nuisance, and we are here to just ask the board to be patient with us while we try to get that back up and make it into something that you can be proud of in the county. We are going to continue cleanup. There's some mowing and some bush hogging and stuff that needs to be done around the whole property. And I think I've covered everything, but like I said, we're just asking the board to kind of take into consideration that we found this out prior to taking it on, and that we are currently working on it. In a week and a half, we have accomplished those many things, and we will continue to work on doing that to provide quality housing.
Okay, thank you, Ms. Huss.
Thank you. I have no more speakers, Mr. Vice Chairman.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. That'll bring us to item 9 of our agenda, the consent agenda. I'll ask the county manager to present that for us.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Members of the board, you have a lengthy consent agenda. Item 1, clerk removal from the adult care home CAC. Item 2, clerk removal, appointment, and reappointment to the planning board. Item 3, clerk removals from the nursing home community advisory committee. Item 4, clerk reappointments to the Veterans Service Board. Item 5, appointment to the WPCOG Regional Aging Advisory Committee. Item 6, county manager, lease of Drexel Barn for animals confiscated by the sheriff's office. Item 7, county manager, NCDOT, Enola Road and Government Drive agreement. Item 8, county manager, selection of engineering firm for the EPA Brownfields grant. Item 9, community development, approval of abandoned manufactured home grant contract between North Carolina Department of Environmental Quality and Burke County. Item 10, FMT Foothills Medical Transit involuntary commitments. Item 11, General Services, Budget Amendment for the Johnson Bridge Road Water Line Relocation Project. Item 12, General Services, Water Leak Credit Policy. Item 13, Health Department, Approval of New Ultrasound Lease. Item 14, Sheriff, Approval of Authorized Signers for the Civil Bank Account. Item 15, Sheriff, Governor's Crime Commission Light and Camera Grant. Item 16, Sheriff, Governor's Crime Commission Side Scan Sonar Grant. Item 17, Tax Department EMS Collections Report for August 2016. Item 18, Tax Department Release Refund Report for September 2016. Item 19, Tax Department Tax Collection Report for September 2016. And item 20, Tax Department Late Application for Age Exclusion. That concludes your consent agenda, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, Mr. Steen. Gentlemen, we've reviewed the consent items at pre-agenda. You've heard these items again. I would entertain a motion to accept all these items.
So moved.
You've heard Mr. Carroll's motion. All in favor signify by the uplifted hand. That's all of us, Madam Clerk. Okay, that brings us to items for decision number 10, removals and appointments to the Board of Adjustment. Madam Clerk.
Thank you, Mr. Vice Chairman, members of the board. This is concerning the removals and appointment to the Board of Adjustment. The terms of Virginia Cook, seat number 1 in the east, and Douglas Hall, seat number 4 in the west, ended. Ms. Cook is not seeking reappointment at this time, and Mr. Hall resigned. The board is asked to remove their names from the roster and thank them for the service to the community. Staff also requests that Doris Smith, currently serving in seat number 7 as the west alternate, be appointed to fill seat number 4, also representing the west, as a regular member due to her vast experience in planning and zoning matters. The term is for 3 years. In addition, staff further requests that Mario S. or Joshua B. be appointed to seat number 7 as the west alternate to complete Mrs. Smith's unexpired term. And I'd just like to point out that Mr. Baez's application was just received recently and was not available at pre-agenda. So you have a couple of motions to remove Ms. Cook and Mr. Hall and thank them for their service, to appoint Doris Smith for seat number 4 for a 3-year term ending September 30th, 2019, and then to appoint Mr. Mario Sasechi or Joshua Baez to the Board of Adjustment for seat number 7, the West alternate, for an unexpired term ending September 30th, 2018.
Okay, thank you, Madam Clerk. Gentlemen, I would entertain the first two items together, if you like.
Mr. Chairman, do you prefer those restated?
If you would, please.
To remove Virginia Cook, seat number 1 from east, and Douglas Hall, seat number 4 from the west, from the official roster of the Board of Adjustments and thank them for their service to the community. To appoint Doris Smith to the Board of Adjustment for seat number 4 west, for a 3-year term ending September the 30th, 2019.
All right, thank you, Mr. Taylor. Gentlemen, you've heard that motion. All in favor, uplifted hand, please. Madam Clerk, that's unanimous. At this time, we'll consider the third motion, and we'll need to open the floor for nominations for Mario Sachetti or Joshua Baziz to the Board of Adjustment for seat number 7, West alternate, to complete an unexpired term ending September 30th, 2018. With that, I would open the floor for nominations.
Mr. Chairman, may we ask a question before we nominate?
Absolutely.
Madam Clerk, did the board lean one way or the other? Did they make a recommendation of these two individuals?
The Board of Adjustment, no, sir.
Okay.
Mr. Bradley Kirkley works with the Board of Adjustment. He may want to, or maybe not, have an opinion or
current Board of Adjustment would not have knowledge of either two individual. Basically, we're a four-member board right now, so both of the names, to be perfectly frank, I don't know anything regarding either one of them. So it's just hoping for your interpretation.
Thank you, Brandon. Floor is open for nominations, gentlemen.
Mr. Chairman, I move to appoint Mario Sacchetti to the Board of Adjustments for seat number 7.
Are there any other nominations for seat number 7?
Mr. Chairman, I move to appoint Joshua Baziz to seat number 7.
Thank you, Commissioner Carson. All right, at this time, we'll vote on these in the order that they were received. If you prefer Mario Sacchetti, please vote by the uplifted hand. Okay. And if you prefer Joshua Baziz, please vote by the uplifted hand. Madam Clerk, that'll be 3 votes for Mario Sacchetti, 1 for Joshua Baziz. That will appoint Mario Sacchetti to this.
Mr. Chairman, it makes these decisions a little tougher when you have 2 excellent candidates that you could appoint. And
Absolutely.
certainly, by all means, we thank both of them are willing to participate and give.
Absolutely, both excellent candidates. Okay, at this time we'll hear another matter for decision from our county attorney.
Thank you, Mr. Vice Chairman. At our pre-agenda meeting in early October, as part of discussing the mobile home grant program that was on the docket there, discussion ensued concerning whether or not the county should take some action in order to force cleanup of several mobile home parks in the county as a nuisance or as violators of our county ordinances. And so at that time, commissioners spoke about 2 particular mobile home parks, one being on Riverbend Road, which is owned by an entity called Riverbend MHP LLC out of Asheville. And the other one was a mobile home park on Charlie Crawley Road, which is now owned by its former mortgage holder, Bayview Loan Servicing LLC, who foreclosed on the property from its then current owners. So the possibility of bringing suit to have the abandoned or uninhabitable mobile homes declared a nuisance and the owners ordered to abate the nuisance was placed on the agenda for tonight. The county does have that ability. They're not inexpensive lawsuits, but they certainly are lawsuits, and we certainly do have the ability to bring those and to make the owners do some cleanup on their properties. The Riverbend mobile home park is also under suit right now from Burke County for tax foreclosure from failing to pay their taxes over the last several years. The other mobile home park that was mentioned, the one that's owned by Bayview Loan Servicing now, is current with its taxes. So the matter is on for the commissioners to determine what, if anything, they wish to do.
All right, thank you, Mr. Attorney. Commissioners, open the floor for discussions on this matter.
Mr. Chairman, if I heard correctly from the Husses, and I don't know if we're allowed to ask them questions or not, but from what was presented earlier, they do plan to remodel, renovate, restore, and make useful living residents out of those units. Is that what we understand? And a couple other questions that probably at least need to be entertained at this point would include what's the timetable of that? And secondly, what about the taxes and how will they be handled? And thirdly, how do we recoup the losses like in water and anything else that might be out there that obviously would be included if we chose to sue the present owners? But, and I guess the biggest question we need to ask is that transaction happened? Have y'all signed papers to purchase it?
Mr. Attorney, would that be appropriate to hear from?
Yeah, if the board wants to hear from them and they're willing to speak, that'd be
All right,
appropriate.
come forward.
In reference to the taxes, we are prepared to pay up all the back taxes and any fines with the county. Like I said, we have identified some of the problem that was part of the leak problem with the water. I'm aware of the cost that's owed at this point, which is not something we could take on, but going forward, we can prevent any further loss to the best of our ability.
Okay. Any paperwork signed between you and the previous owner?
Yes, we have signed that, and it is currently also in foreclosure from the previous owners, but we have signed an offer to purchase and are in line to do that. We have a letter from the attorney. And we have already accomplished a great deal in a week and a half. I can give you an approximate timeline of what we hope to accomplish with remodeling the homes. We have done a walkthrough, and we have identified the ones that we could get up and going very quickly and get rented quickly. And I think that one of the key components is going to be getting the ones that are close to being ready, done and filled up, and getting that part not being a nuisance, providing some quality care, getting people in there. So,
The timetable do you have to complete it?
well, we would hope to have the majority of it completed within the year. We would hope to. Our goal is to take the ones that are ready now, and I could identify about 9 of those and hopefully have them up and running within about a 5 to 6 month period of time.
Okay. And paying the outstanding water bill and the taxes, what's the timetable on
The
that?
way I understand that after speaking with Keith at the water department, that account will be taken up with the previous owner who had that account. We have a separate account already initiated, and we're going forward from there.
Okay.
Any other questions for Ms. Ashton?
I understand, attorney, is that property being foreclosed on now?
It's being foreclosed on for taxes. I can't, it also has a mortgage on it, and I don't know whether that's being foreclosed at the present time or not.
Yes, it is.
I guess the question is, what will happen with foreclosure? What do we need to do to address this in a manner that's in accordance with the laws of foreclosure, et cetera? I don't know how far along they've gotten with dealing with all these issues. If there's documents available that you said the former owner was being charged or responsible for some of those issues that exist. So do you have anything from them saying that they will do that?
I can tell you what I know now is that we have signed an offer to purchase, given earnest money, and dealt with the attorney Redmond Deal, who is foreclosing on the other people. We've dealt with the lien holder. We are buying it from the actual lien holder. The last word I had today was that the previous owner has agreed to give them a deed in lieu. And, so that should happen pretty quickly where we will have, 100% ownership. The only thing I can reference in regards to what is already owed is that with the water department, we have spoken with them, and they have, discontinued the account with the previous owner, using the documentation we have from the attorney. And we have a fresh account, we're starting fresh, and we have addressed the leak there, and we have gotten all the leaks that we can identify fixed. The power company, when we turned on the street lights, they did not even, they opened a fresh account too. They didn't really speak to us about the previous owner's account.
Mr. Chairman, I'd like to ask the attorney, what would be his recommendation on this situation? To give him additional time to correct those issues?
Well, the Husses do not own this property. I would say you could put this on, put it on next month's agenda and see if they have obtained ownership at that point. They may be doing a lot of work for nothing. It wouldn't be the first time something like that had happened. But if they have closed by the time of our November meeting, then that would also give our folks like Mr. Kirkley and Keith Ferris the opportunity to see what they would recommend as far as the trash that's on the property and the abandoned and destroyed mobile homes on the property. So I would have no problem in setting this, continuing it to the next meeting. I don't know what you want to do about the other one, the one on Charlie Crawley Road, but I'd say that it's encouraging to have folks who are looking at property that we're getting ready to file suit on, and if we can give them a little more time and see what their bona fides are, then we can go from there.
Mr. Chairman, I would move to comply with the information the attorney spoke to go put it off for another 30 days. Do you think you'd be able to have answers to those questions
Yes.
by then?
Yes, I can try to do that.
Next meeting in November would be the third Tuesday in November.
Okay. Thank you very much.
Other questions or comments before we entertain that motion? Mr. Chairman?
Mr. Chairman, I would like to add, it's a relief in one sense of the word that somebody's dealing with and is on top of it. And I really think and agree with Jack. We ought to put it on hiatus for at least 30 days. I would much rather somebody take it and make it useful to the citizens and be able to use it than to spend tax dollars that we wouldn't have to spend. So I believe a 30-day hiatus would be a good move.
JR, what they're talking about, the lien holder, if they're buying it from the lien holder, they'll have to go through a closing process, and all taxes will have to be paid that are delinquent before the sale can go through, so that property tax shouldn't be lost.
Right.
Okay.
And they would, if they're doing a deed in lieu of foreclosure, then they would have to go through the tax office procedures for that to be registered.
Any other comments? Mr. Carter?
Mr. Chairman, I need some clarification from the county attorney on some language. The language states, JR, to have certain uninhabitable or abandoned mobile homes. Is it our desire with this motion to address the issues at the two mobile homes listed in the abstract, or is this our intent to, by the language of certain, are we going to address other mobile homes in the county, or are we just doing a target here on two?
Mine, I don't know what exactly what my intention was, just on the River Bend property at this point.
What we had prepared was addressing the two that were brought up in pre-agenda, which were the Charlie Crawley Road and the River Bend. It might be a good opportunity. I know Mr. Kirkley has a full plate, but I'm sure there are others in the county that suffer from the same neglect, and it might be a good opportunity to put together a list of those and see if there are any that, because of their nature, that the commissioners want to take a stand against.
Well, my position on the others, they should be individually, and in the past, we've asked them, to upgrade or correct the deficiency before actually the foreclosure ever took place, I would hope. And I think that should be the policy in the future, wherever they may be. But these are two that we should focus on tonight.
Any other comments? I'd like just to make one or two, but based again, as Commissioner Carflow, I think, was headed on the suggested motion, that I think the suggested motion kind of opened the door to a lot of other things and wasn't specific, but since we're probably not going there, that doesn't matter. But I want to make just another comment. This suggested motion was focusing on mobile homes, but I would remind the board, and perhaps you already know this, but my occupation takes me out into the county quite a bit, and far beyond mobile home parks are many, and I think perhaps Mr. Kirkley could attest to this, single-family homes that have been walked away from and are falling down around themselves, just as mobile homes. Would you like to comment on that at this point? We won't belabor this a whole lot, but I'm just a little bit concerned about targeting a mobile home, when in reality there's lots of other homes out there that are in just as bad a condition.
You're correct, Commissioner Britton. We have an abundance of items of similar nature to what are being discussed right here. For example, within River Bend, as I tried to relay to Kay for the meeting tonight, they're in excess of probably 20 to 26, give or take, that are either in need of desperate repair within that park or well beyond repair. Now, anything is able to be fixed if you sink enough money into it to do it. I think with the potential applicant who's looking at acquiring this property, as she said, within a matter of a week, by adding the cameras, relaying and fixing the water leak through there, that's a farther step than we've had in the past 5 to 6 years dealing with the current owner. We have ongoing case files for myself, Deputy Marler, where we've tried to reach out to the current owner where nothing gets done. And we have an abundance of these that either for negligence on the owner's part or just not able to locate them, where things sit on the docket and are requiring us to move forward in a money use of having something destroyed or demolished. I myself currently have in excess of about 6 that are single-family homes that basically we don't have an owner who has either the financial means to do it, and unless we pull it from the taxpayer, where do we pull the money from ourselves to relieve the eyesore? And they're everywhere. So like JR had mentioned, there are a lot of mobile home parks that have this same type of thing countywide. I would say, like we've done in the past, once it reaches the point where we've reached our limit of what we could do, probably looking at an individual basis, but once again, without the cooperation of the property owner, we kind of reach a standstill. And I hope that answers what you're.
Thank you. All right, with that, Mr. Carroll, let me try to reach state your motion, be sure if I'm wrong, please correct me. I think the motion is to hold this matter in respect to the River Bend Park and the continue to hold on to the Charlie Crawley Road project as well. Hold this matter for another month into November.
Table it until the next meeting, which will be July 21st, next month, 15th.
You've heard the motion from Commissioner Carroll. All in favor of the motion signify by the uplifted hand. Those opposed?
Mr. Chairman, can I be heard on my opposition?
Yes, sir.
The only reason I'm going to oppose this, I think this is a larger issue, and we need just a little bit more time to take a look at what we really need to do with this issue. And I don't object to what extending it, but I just think it needs to be extended a little bit longer, and that we get a little bit more information and take another look at this with more eyes, so that we can actually address what we think the problem actually is. And that's the only reason for my opposition to that.
Okay, thank you. Mr. Carswell. Brown, if you could maybe make a note and ask staff to look at this maybe on a little bit broader scale, and we can discuss it more in pre-agenda maybe. With that, Madam Clerk, 3-1, okay? This time brings us to item 11, reports and comments. And gentlemen, I'd like to hear both of those at the same time, if you don't mind. If you have comments or committee reports you'd like to make, we'll start at my far right with our attorney, Mr. Simpson.
No comments tonight, Mr. Vice Chairman.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I've attached, I believe, in your packages, minutes from the library meetings and from the water board meetings. I have nothing to add to those except to say that, again, at the water board, we have discovered that there's a lot of new taps going in Burke County, and therefore that building process is getting better in the county, and I'm very, very proud of that.
Thank you. Mr. Taylor?
Yes, a couple of comments that I did want to make. Please take note that we all have been asked to provide information. Be it duly noted, I have forwarded mine to council as requested. Also attended the groundbreaking of Pegatronics. Enjoyed that very much. Also attended ribbon cutting at Peace Oaks, I believe it is, where they're building the rock homes, and they'll be rented, believe it or not. But about $8 million investment in that area. Also, I'm from the Recreation Department on reports, and I'll give a copy of this to Kay, the clerk. They had 32 football teams, 15 outdoor soccer teams. The Youth League football playoffs will be held at Patton High School on November the 12th, and Freedom High School on November the 17th and 19th. And our next meeting will probably be our December Thanksgiving dinner together. Mental health meeting is this Thursday, so I don't have that to share with you. And Clean Air and Water now meets quarterly, so I only have to give you quarterly reports, not monthly reports. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Commissioner. County Manager?
Yes, Mr. Chairman, members of the board, I've got the presentation for you to see. Give you a little update on the work at the landfill. The pictures there show the landfill before the project began, soil on slope to be removed and stockpiled as suitable for reuse. Removal of soil to install the GCL at the correct elevation. Your next photos show the installation of the GCL matting. The matting is staked in place and then covered with 18 inches of soil. There are 3 6-inch lifts of soil to be applied and compacted over the matting. And this is the first of the 3 lifts of soil. And if you're looking at that picture, you can see people look real small in that to give you an idea of the scale. And those are not just 2-axle dump trucks. Those are the huge ones that they have to bring up and down the interstate on the backs of trailer trucks. They're very big equipment, and it's a very large job. Your next picture shows the soil borrow area. The soil that is being used to cover the GCL matting is being cut on site. The borrow site is the future C&D expansion cell, so we're digging out the new cell while we're covering the old. The project will reduce the construction cost of our next C&D expansion cell. And the project has been finished. The GCL matting has been installed. The matting has been covered with soil and lifts, and each lift has been compacted. The finished grade has been attained, and the area hydroseeded to prevent erosion. Winter vegetation should begin to grow over the next few weeks. And the next picture shows you the finished product from there on top, looking down and to the sides. You also have a picture there, view of the future from atop the old landfill. You see the current C&D cell to the left in the yellow circle, and then to the right would be the future C&D cell. And we need to open that. Next, the Burke County Library Senior Center Hildebrand campus. You've got a picture there of the beginning, day one, grassy wooded lot. Putting up the orange meshing for establishing the site. Next, you had tree removal and grading and removal of trees from the building pad, and then site preparation begins. Their entrance from South Center Street, grading the entrance to the site from South Center Street. You have a picture there of the topsoil that was stockpiled to be spread in the landscaping phase of the project. Next is the building pad, rear slope finished and graded. The building pad has been finished and footers were ready to pour the week of 19 September. That's been done. Rear slope and foundation. The rear slope has been established and is now having grass to sprout. Footers have been poured. Underground plumbing has been installed, and building slab will be ready to be poured the week of 17 October. You can see that they've done some underground plumbing installations and foundation detail. Project progress summary. The site prep portion of the project is complete. Building footers are complete. Underground plumbing has been roughed in. Water and sewer. You've had rough-in inspection that passed the 14th of October. The building slab is to be poured the week of 17 October. The next round of pictures are our DSS offices that were redone in the courthouse for child support. Be relocated there. You have 6 office spaces that were renovated behind the magistrate's office. And then there's another 6 that were constructed behind the magistrate's office. So you have a total of 12 office spaces completed in the old probation area that involved all the trades of electrical, painting, flooring, IT, walls, and ceiling. The DSS staff moved yesterday. And from what I understand, everything is pretty well settled down. I think they had a hiccup this morning with a printer, and that's been corrected. Next is your Fonta Flora State Trail at the County Park, trail construction. There's the park access road. You see it in the beginning on the left side, and then the right, the finished roadway. And then your next pictures are some of the trail construction, how they go into what's just a stand of trees and start cutting, and then start using a small backhoe to prepare the trail and clear the stumps. You've got some pictures of views along the trail. And then looking northwest towards Linville Gorge. And in addition to that, gentlemen, tonight is the first night that we have broadcast our meetings using Facebook Live. That concludes my report, sir.
Thank you, County Manager. Good progress report there, and I appreciate you mentioning Facebook. I meant to do that earlier, and it got away from me. Commissioner Carroll.
Well, my committees, there's 2 of them that didn't have a meeting this month, and MPO and RPO is scheduled for next Wednesday, so I really don't have any information passed along on those committees. I have no other further comments.
All right, thank you. Madam Clerk?
None for me, thank you.
All right, thank you. back to the Fauna Flora Trail. We had the opportunity to visit that just a few weeks ago, and very encouraging. Looking forward to that trail opening. Our citizens will, I think, be real impressed and will enjoy the use of that facility when we get it going. I don't have any committee reports tonight. With that, Madam Clerk, we'll hear vacancy announcements, please.
Thank you, Mr. Vice Chairman, members of the board. We have the following vacancies: the Hickory Regional Planning Commission, the Adult Care Home Community Advisory Committee, the Nursing Home Community Advisory Committee, Council on Aging, Juvenile Crime Prevention, City of Morganton Board of Adjustment for the ETJ, City of Morganton Planning Board ETJ, Voluntary Agriculture Board, Burke County Board of Adjustment and Planning Board, Burke County Parks and Recreation Commission, Western Piedmont Regional Transit Authority Transportation Advisory Board, and Partners Behavioral Health Management.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. Lots of good opportunities for our citizens to participate in. If you're interested in any of those vacancies, please contact our clerk, and she'll be delighted to give you the application and information you need to help you with that. At this time, we come to item 13. We do have need for a closed session tonight to preserve attorney-client privilege, to discuss economic development matters, and to discuss personnel matters. A closed session is needed pursuant to NCGS 143-318, 11A, 3, and 4. With that, I would entertain a motion to go into closed session after about a 10-minute recess.
So moved, Mr. Chairman.
All in favor signify by that 50 Dan, please. Thanks, everybody, Madam Clerk. Thank you. Thank you again for your attendance tonight. If you choose to leave us, and we'll take about a 10-minute break.